President Klaus Wieshugel, General Secretary Ambert Yusum, delegates and guests. I'm very pleased to have the chance to address this third World Congress of the Building and Woodworkers International. I'm sorry I can't be with you in person. You've chosen a timely and an urgent theme for your Congress. With more than 200 million unemployed in the world and growing and unacceptable inequality, we certainly do need jobs for all and justice for all. And yes, unions make it possible. Every woman, every man should not only have a job, but a decent job. And social justice is, of course, a fundamental value for the world of work and for the ILO. The right of workers to establish and join organisations is an essential part of a free and open society and of democracy. And it's also at the heart of the ILO. Without it, there is no decent work. Construction, forestry and wood are crucially important sectors in the global economy, employing more than 120 million workers formally and many more informally, and underpinning economic growth and development in many countries. But these are sectors which also face critical decent work challenges. There is a high level of casual and informal work, where workers' rights and employment status are often unclear, so too often they enjoy less protection from the law than those who are directly employed. Migrant workers, many of whom work with irregular status, are found in great numbers throughout construction and forestry and face particular challenges when it comes to their rights and working conditions. And fluctuating demand in your sector means more temporary contracts, where workers tend to put in long hours to make the most of work while it lasts, and then can face joblessness when it runs out. They and informal workers are less likely to have access to the training and the experience which are so important for work safety. A considerable amount of construction activity is carried out via procurement contracts that, in the absence of strong labour clauses, may encourage unfair competition that lowers labour costs and leads to social dumping. Another serious issue, one specific to forestry, is illegal logging, which is widespread and puts workers as well as sustainable resources in jeopardy. The BWI and its affiliates have worked long and hard to combat these challenges in the construction, forestry and wood sectors and to ensure social justice. Much has already been achieved, and I'm confident that we'll see further progress in all of your efforts to unionise workers and to strengthen workers' organisations. For its part, the ILO is active in a variety of ways to support your work. We have organised global, regional and national meetings to provide a platform for workers to discuss critical questions with employers and with governments. We've produced studies on emerging issues of relevance to BWI sectors, and these provide a knowledge base not only for discussion at meetings, but for operational action on the ground. And these have ranged from green jobs to workers' participation in safety and health management, from large construction enterprises to informal work, and these are just a few. The BWI and the ILO have cooperated to produce training materials for occupational health and safety in construction, aimed at strengthening social partners in prevention and building their technical capacities. Already in use in a number of countries, these provide state-of-the-art technical knowledge in their field and emphasise the critical importance of unions to the achievement of progress. In forestry, the ILO has produced guidelines on labour inspection that have been disseminated in national sectoral workshops and also through an Asian-Pacific conference. We also work together to promote decent work conditions in preparation for major global events such as the Football World Cup. From joint international presentations prior to the South Africa Cup in 2010 to current preparations for the coming World Cup in Brazil, the ILO and BWI are helping host cities implement the decent work agenda in their operational activities so that the largest number of workers benefit. Drawing on the magnitude and the visibility of the World Cup, we can leave a model of decent work as a legacy as well for others to follow in the major events and large-scale urban interventions which are a feature of our times. Today, through the campaigning that you have done, the spotlight has been turned on the urgent need to protect the conditions of migrant workers in Qatar and to promote their rights. The ILO and the BWI also advocate the inclusion of decent work and a strong role for workers' organisations in the activities of other international agencies such as the United Cities and Local Governments and the UN Habitat. In this context, it will be critical to include the decent work agenda, including the key role of workers' organisations, in the conclusions and recommendations of the third United Nations Conference on Housing and Sustainable Urban Development, Habitat 3, which will be held in 2016. That can have a real and a worldwide impact on construction activities, as well as on forestry and wood throughout the value chain. Colleagues, the ILO is itself undergoing an important process of reform and of change, with the objective of strengthening our capacity to promote decent work in a world of work still suffering the effects of global crisis. Our partnership is central to that challenge. I think that we are working well together, and I want to express to you the hope that we will do even better in the future. So good luck to all of you there at the Congress. I look forward to seeing the results of your work and then cooperating to put them into action. Good luck.